Good afternoon, respected dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jhaveri, and I lead the BFSI and the large conglomerates vertical for STT India GDC. What a day to have the modern BFSI session today, As we talk way back in 1969 on 19th of July, 14 banks, were nationalized. With that said, I would want to begin. And as I start, I have a question for all of you. Can anyone tell me what does 131 billion stands for? Anyone? I represent a technology company, Each one of us who's sitting back here must have contributed at least 12 transactions to get this number going. Any guesses? Yeah? UPI? No, but it is the digital transactions what we talk about. Not only that, it's almost 200 lakh crores which are transacted in the year 2023-24. And as I go ahead, we see CAGR growth of almost 45% between 2017 to 2024. And as we talk and take things ahead, there is one more era. What are we talking? We've been hearing since morning. That's about AI. We've been talking technology, What is the BFSI, AI era? As you see this chart which has come up, on my left, it states the global GDP being impacted with technology. As the way in which the technology is growing, where we start primarily from the printing press era to the AI era, each leap of technology, has got its own spur, and it is contributing towards our economic growth and the possibilities and the innovation, what are we getting ahead. As I go ahead, the next era would be an AI era. Now, we've been hearing about AI, we've been talking about AI, so that's not that new. But at the same time, the use cases which are going to be coming down more from a perspective of banking and others would be contributing to much more higher innovation what we're trying to look out for. With that, when we say what is getting AI fueled more, the kind of chipsets, which were all as good as 500 million transistors which were able to process power are raising back almost to 4 trillion in terms of computing powers. Now with HPA, high performance computing, and AI, what it gets for us? Number one, 2x in terms of the productivity and innovation. It contributes 1.2% of the GDP growth on an annual basis. It gets $15 trillion, worth global GDP moved by 2030. And it contributes, only Gen AI, would itself contribute to almost 4.4 trillion to the global GDP. What's that for India? In the next decade, we see $1 trillion of innovation and opportunities what lies with us in India. Now, as we are talking data, so data growth says revenue growth, say is the economic growth. With that, I just wanted to understand, that as we are into a BFSI session, I just wanted to get a brief area that where the data gets stored. Anyone? Precisely. So just to get you familiar, quickly on the basic IT infrastructure of a bank, which consists of a front end, which consists of a middle tier, and which consists of a back end. Now, where exactly the data is? The data is in the data center. And this data, what are we talking, is very critical. All of them we've been listening to the governor, to Mr. Piramal, and to the future, fireside chats what we're going to have. Every conversation is going to be revolving around data, data, and data, and these are critical data. Now, for a bank, or for an insurance company, or for an exchange board, or for that matter, an NBFC, okay? These are the basic guidelines, okay, what one needs to be saying, that if my data, either I store in my own captive data center, I have a cloud provider who would help me to store that data. Even that cloud provider stores his data into a data co-location center. Somewhere down the line, the data center comes into the picture. It's not that I'm from a data center company, but that's a fact. With that, we say the infrastructure reliability is one of the key areas, especially when our government and RBI mandates critical data have to be saved on Indian soil. The reliability factor on infrastructure becomes evidently more and more high. Second aspect is energy efficiency. Today, as more we grow in terms of our expansion, okay, in the terms of reach of the data centers or the kind of IT innovations we are doing, it will consume more and more energy. And for anyone, okay, familiar with PUE, am I right? Productivity usage, electricity in the sense where we consume least energy, okay, to contribute the max. Now, the PUEs in a data center typically would be the operational front where it helps to reduce the cost. It has to be, renewed in terms of the renewable energies which are available like solar, wind, etc. Third aspect is data security and privacy. We had those 9 points by the governor, and this one was the major, am I right? Where your data saves, okay, it has to be secured. That integral is it. With the modern working style, okay, it becomes more detrimental of data not operated from a siloed location, but from a remote location. How secured is that in front of your data? What are you maintaining it? The fourth part is sustainability. It's critically important, okay, that whatever you are investing, okay, it has to be sustainable. It has to remit least carbon going in the future. Now, what is the way ahead? If these are the 4 imperatives when we talk about, what are the way ahead when we talk about is the challenges and the way forward. So one is most of them, okay, the traditional banking structure or the companies which are almost 3 decades, 4 decades old, the biggest challenge what they come out is in terms of modernization of legacy systems. How do you modernize your system from the legacy to the new age technology which is being offered? Second, in terms of the cybersecurity threats. Third, from a regulation compliance, that it has to be complied the way the government is asking us to. Managing complexities of the data centers technology, that as and when the things are innovating and are changing, you would be primarily responsible if you're maintaining that data center to upbring that change, adapt that change, and take things forward. And last but not the least is in terms of competent technical manpower. Even this was one of the points what the governor mentioned today, that running a data center is more critical than running a Boeing 747. The Boeing between 2 takeoffs, okay, has at least some downtime. The data center cannot afford to have a downtime ever. It goes 24/7 into 365 days. That critical the operations are, and for that, you need to have someone who's competent. With this, when I talk about the basic bank or any financial institution, okay, their basic job is to run the operations, okay, and do business. Where we come into the picture, okay, is you do the work what you are expected, and you can get the work what we've been able to do. And that's where we say that we can be a trusted partners, okay, in this entire journey. With STT GDC Global, okay, we are present in most of the emerging, geographies, okay, starting from, India, Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Japan, Germany, UK, with more than 1 gigawatt of IT load currently workable. In India, we are present in 10 different states, okay? 28 data centers, what we are operating, and almost a 400 megawatt of IT infrastructure planned in the coming years. With that, what services what we offer is in terms of co-location services, where we say, if you have, means we have brokers from NSE and BSE, okay, who come down to us asking us for 5 racks and 10 racks, and then we have large banks, we have got large exchange boards who says that they want to have a build-to-suit data center with us. That's the capability in terms of co-location what we have. We are into connectivity, where you're able to, communicate to your primary, to your secondary data center. We have that services available. We are into support services, where we say, we manage the entire support for your data center operations. Okay, so you have a good night's sleep, and we take care of that. And last is in terms of high-performance data centers. I'll speak more on the high-performance data centers on cloud today. Major of the hyperscalers, okay, when I talk about the big OEMs today, when we talk about, I cannot name them, but most of them are with us. With this, the way in which STT is offering services, okay, is end-to-end. Where we say we have started services, especially in terms of AI as a service, GPU as a service, where these services, okay, can be planned for you to run your AI load. And that's where we say we run it individually from our data center. The folks are in India, the support is from India, the software from NVIDIA, which is latest available, which we can make you enable. With that, I would want to, just share our first partnership what we had with Firmus. Okay, Firmus is basically an AI architect from NVIDIA, and we have collaborated with them to offer the infrastructure as a service, to the Indian market. When we've been talking about buildings of data centers, okay, this is where we say is the future of data centers. That's the hypercube. This is where the size would take a 5-story building or possibly a 3-acre of land to be coming up, and it can be fit here into. And by end of 2024-25, we announced at least 3 more partnerships into AI/ML, okay, as a service for hyperscaler data centers. With that, we are very committed, okay, in terms of our ESG guidelines, in terms of decarbonization of our data center operations, our social welfare, inclusivity of work, and last, in terms of governance. We have the right set of things moving for us. As we go ahead, these are some awards what we have got, but 2 to be mentioned and categorically called out. Number 1 is we've been the best data center company in the last 6 consecutive years for civilian. We've been in the 5th year where we've been awarded as one of the best companies to work with. Now with these 2 things, okay, it makes a lot of sense to partner with us for your critical data. With that, I end. Any questions? Thank you.